Hello friends, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Andiany Pratiwi. In this opportunity, I would like to present an article review on the topic Continuing Your Teacher Education, written by Douglas Brown. And this material of presentation is submitted as one of the assignment of EFL teaching methodology course given by Professor Dr. Nandensri Langkanawati and Dr. Fazri Nur Yusuf, MPD. So without further ado, let's get started. So basically, this material is chapter 23, page 426, part 6, related with continuing your teacher education from teaching by principle, an interactive approach to language pedagogy book. It is written by Douglas Brown and published by Person Longman, San Francisco, California. Okay. In this presentation, I divide the material into 7 parts. Those are the summary of the topic, and then the related theories, related research report, critical analysis, conclusion, and references. So, the book written by Douglas Brown is organized into 6 main sections. The first one, Foundation for Classroom Practice, and then Context of Teaching, Designing and Implementing Classroom Lessons, Teaching Language Skills, Assessing Language Skills, and Lifelong Learning. As I mentioned before, the core material of this reading report is related to the strategies in ELT teaching and learning, and especially on the teacher professional development. Thus, chapter 23, continuing your teacher education in part 6, lifelong learning, will be widely discussed. Okay. So, the chapter is appealing to review since it offers a wide perspective on various issues faced by the teachers. As a teacher, we often find that it is much more difficult to become a perfect teacher to all the students. Teachers need to take a positive actions to be good in teaching and facilitating learning. Effective teachers need to be able to work in a constantly evolving environment and adjust their teaching methods based on the age of their student. As mentioned in the book, to be a fascinating teacher, the major professional goals should be achieved in order to grow a better job of teaching, and those goals are: the first, has a knowledge of the theoretical foundation of language learning and language teaching. The second, the analytical skills necessary for assessing different teaching contexts and classroom conditions. The third, an awareness of alternative teaching techniques and the ability to put this into practice. The fourth, the confidence and skill to alter your teaching techniques and the ability to put this into practice. And by implementing these different goals, Brown believes that a better job of teaching could be achieved by the teachers. In the next slide. In this study, Brown also describes how to effectively set realistic goals in terms to know what we can accomplish. Teachers are far more likely to achieve the goals if they write down the goals specifically. However, teachers also should know the limitations, strengths, and their needs to set these realistic goals. To do so, it is beneficial to set the short and the long-term goals. After we know the specific goals, we also need to set the priorities. Brown said, set the priorities means we have a sense of what is the most important and least important due to the deadline of the goal and the task. Next, to be a better teacher, teachers should reach out to new challenges and take the risk. Take a risk, said Brown, means how we learn from the failure and improve it. sometimes things don't go as planned, and that is perfectly fine. Failure doesn't mean the idea wasn't valid or is not good enough. Failure simply means there is something to be learned or another direction to be taken. And last, he also mentioned that as a teacher, we also deal with several issues, whether it is related with the student, the teaching materials, or ourselves, which could lead into a stressful situation. So, teaching is a career with all the makings for high-stress condition. Managing the potential stress factors is a very important key to keep ourselves productive and creative. And the next slide, there are some experts describe the importance of a good language teacher to the continuity of learning. One of them is Harold B. Allen. He mentioned about the list of characteristics of good ESL teachers. The first one, competent to preparation leading to a degree in the ESL, a love of English language, critical thinking, the persistent urge to upgrade oneself. Then, self-subordination, readiness to go the extra mile, cultural adaptability, professional citizenship, and a feeling of excitement about one's works. These characteristics are useful to measure the teacher's improvement for the professional growth meals. It could help the teacher to be an effective ESL teacher with a number of qualities. Brown also offers a checklist of a good language teaching characteristics in order to determine some areas for continued professional growth. These characteristics are useful to measure the teacher's improvement for the professional growth meals, of course. It could help the teacher to be an effective ESL teacher with a number of qualities. Brown also offers a checklist of a good language teaching characteristic in order to determine some areas for continued professional growth, to prioritize the areas and to state the specific goals that we will pursue. Then, classroom observation and classroom research play a central role in making teaching and learning more visible. In observation could be done in group or individual, or we call it with self-observation. Self-observation is no more than a systematic process of monitoring yourself, but is the systematic part that is crucial. It requires discipline, but the results are worth it. And here, Brown suggests 5 forms of collaboration teachers learning from each other that could adapt and implement it. The first one, peer coaching. Peer coaching is a systematic process of collaboration in which one teacher observes and gives feedback to another teacher. The second, team teaching. Brown stated there are several common models of team teaching. The first, 2 teachers are overly present through a class period, but divide responsibility between them. The second, 2 teachers take different halves of a class period, with one teacher stepping aside while the other performs. The third, 2 or more teachers teach different consecutive periods of one group of learners and must collaborate closely in carrying out and modifying curricular plans. The third, action research. Action research is simply a form of self-reflective inquiry undertaken by participants in social situations in order to improve the rationality and justice of their own practices. Their understanding of this practice and situation in which the practices are carried out. Action research offers another opportunity for teachers to collaborate with other teachers in creative and ultimately rewarding ways. And the fourth, collaborative curriculum development and revision. teacher collaboration in curriculum development is well placed in order to bridge the gap between school-level curriculum performed and school-level practices. The process of curriculum development and revision gives a similar collaborative effort. And the last, teacher support groups. Brown underlined that collaboration can take the dome of gathering of teachers at a number of different levels. It is important to have times with other teachers to cover a number of possible issues such as student behavior problems, teaching tips, curricular issues, and difficulties with administrative bureaucracy. When teachers talk together, there is almost always a sense of solidarity and purpose, and ultimately a moral boost. And here are the related theories. There are some theories that related to the concept of continuing your teacher education. Jeff Archer believed that what makes observation trustworthy and effective are a set of components that support and reinforce each other. Those components are an observation rubric, observer training, observer assessment, monitoring of observations. Jeff Archer said these components support each other and lead into the improvement to the teacher. A rubric is the basis for training. While training observers, we may discover part of the tool that need to be clarified. Observer assessment builds confidence and also exposes the need for improvement in training. And also, monitoring what observers do and produce over time helps in maintaining and improving the quality of all parts of the system. Hopkins, in his book entitled A Teacher Guide to Classroom Research, offers a practical guide for teachers who wish to undertake research in their classroom and school for the purpose of improving practice. Hopkins also underlined the benefit of classroom research by teachers on three grounds. The first, being its role in refining professional judgment. Second, being its focus on the key professional activities of teachers. And the third, being adequacy of existing research paradigms for the teacher researchers. Besides that, peer coaching can also be helpful to reduce isolation among teachers and to build collaborative norms to enable teachers to support each other. Robbins, on his book entitled How to Plan and Implement a Peer Coaching Program, stated peer coaching can be found in a variety of models. The first, collegial peer coaching, involves two or more teachers working together around the shared observation of teaching. The second, challenge coaching, involves a group of teachers working together to solve a specific instructional challenge or problem. The third, technical coaching, is designed to help teachers transfer what has been learned in a workshop into a classroom. And the fourth, team coaching, involves a teacher who is highly skilled in a specific area to work with another teacher. Many pieces of research have been made in the area of continuing your teacher education. Each of them offers notable contribution to the issues. Some of them are: the first one, classroom observation, a powerful tool for continuous professional development. The researchers proposed that for making teaching and learning more visible, classroom observation plays a central role. It provides teachers with constructive critical feedback in order to improve their classroom management and instructional techniques. They also studied that the classroom observation encouraged colleges to collaborative in order to improve teacher practice and student learning. The next one, peer coaching for improvement of teaching and learning. The next one, peer coaching for improvement of teaching and learning. The researchers shared the experience of conducting peer coaching with 15 students in each class. The results show that peer coaching was found to be an impactful tool for professional development. because it offers teachers to the opportunity for self-reflection, sharing of classroom experience, and mutual growth in teaching. The third, peer observation as a means to develop teachers' professionalism, written by Tosriyadi, Abdul Azib, Sri Marmanto, and Umu Arifatul Azizah. They describe peer observation as one of the reflective practice activities that become an effective strategy in developing teacher pedagogy and professional competence. The last but not least, teaching as a team more than just a team teaching, collaborative teaching, and learning in teachers' education. The researchers stated that co-teaching holds many opportunities for language teachers to implement a communicative approach to teaching. Thus, the opportunity to have a partner to model real communication and to engage in authentic conversation. Let's move on to the critical analysis. So, being a teacher means we would not stop learning. Every time teachers come into the class, they face multiple of issues related with the technique of the teaching, classroom interaction, students' assessment, and also self-improvement to be a growing teacher. Self-improvement could help teachers to overcome such a professional weaknesses. Many research result into the beneficial of classroom observation, classroom research, and team teaching collaboration. However, Brown said that classroom observation exchange nowadays be the neglected area of professional growth among the teachers. Every time teachers get into a teaching routine, it is very difficult to make time to go and see other teachers and to invite the same in return. Moreover, the judgment of classroom observation which somehow scary for the teachers. Teachers also feel tense knowing that the observer is not only to assist them in developing teaching skills, but also to evaluate how well the teachers are doing. This might be stressful, but it is useful. Although some teachers are resistant to do a collaborative teaching method at first, teachers should force themselves to try the new approach. Once teachers begin to see and experience the benefit of learning collaboration, teachers are keen to continue working in collaborative way. Well, to sum up, after conducting a reading report related with teacher self-development, I believe that classroom observation plays a central role in making teaching and learning more visible. It provides teachers with constructive critical feedback to improve classroom management and instructional techniques. For teachers, it is important to observe the interaction between teacher and learner within the classroom because it can determine the learning opportunities that students get. Not only that, classroom observation encourages colleges to collaborate to improve teacher practice and student learning. As teachers, we are not born within teaching abilities. In fact, we learn and develop gradually with the help of some practical approaches. And classroom observation is a well-known powerful practical approach in primary and higher education to help teachers to improve their teaching quality. Learning collaboration such as peer coaching, team teaching, collaborative curriculum development and revision, and teacher support groups help both teachers and students. By learning from one another, teachers can sharpen their skill and adopt new teaching practices. These activities, I believe, can obviously increase the effectiveness of teacher lesson delivery.